Hey, everybody. Yeah, so can everybody get a tile, by the way? Scrabble tile? They are free. I took them across the Atlantic for y'all, so don't make me bring them back. They're going to ask questions at customs. Yeah, so I've been a GraphQL user for about 8 years now. I've worked at Apollo for 3 years. The engineers I serve make some popular GraphQL clients in Apollo Kotlin, Apollo iOS, and Apollo Client. I'm a board member and treasurer of the GraphQL Foundation. So I'm here to talk to you today about my area of expertise, and that, of course, would be Scrabble. You know Scrabble, I'm sure. Here's the board. You're holding tiles, I hope. Who here has actually played a game of Scrabble? Keep them nice and high. All right, I'm going to pick on somebody. What is Scrabble? Yes. What's Scrabble?
You have letter tiles, you try to create words and collect points based on what is written.
You had that. Wow. OK. Round of applause, please. Thank you. That's a great, yes. You put somebody on the spot and you say, explain something, even if it's the simplest thing in the world, and you can go blank. So, well done. Yeah. So when you say, like, yeah, we have Scrabble at home, it probably means you have a box that says Scrabble on it and the board and the tiles. But what is it? Is that it, really? A printed piece of cardboard and some wooden pieces? Sure, it's that. But it's also arguing about what counts as a word. Is BAE a word? I don't know. By the way, in the dictionary, it now is. I read that on the way here. Maybe it's just an excuse to have fun playing a game with friends, right? You take away one of those elements, whatever it is, and the whole thing kind of falls apart. That includes the rules, of course, right? If you're doing this, excuse to use the laser pointer, that's something Scrabble-like, but that's not Scrabble, right? That's against the rules. The rules matter. But then again, so do all the people involved, right? You got your casual players, your competitive players, the rule makers, the vendors, not just for the official boards, but all this other stuff around Scrabble that people buy, all this custom gear, all these folks ordering bags of Scrabble tokens online on Amazon the week before a talk at GraphQL Conf, online communities, tournament organizers, publishers, the list goes on. And this is my smooth as hell transition into talking about GraphQL, because GraphQL isn't just a rule book and a set of tiles. I mean, a spec and a reference implementation. It's an ecosystem. It's a community. There are folks who might be more transactional, right? They use GraphQL at work, and that's it. You have your enthusiasts who might pay close attention to GitHub issues for their favorite tools and comb through all the change logs and release notes for fun. You have your library maintainers, your vendors, folks writing spec text, maintaining core tooling, right? Reference implementations. Many of us in this room, and I won't shine the laser at you, many of us in this room are watching at home wear one or more of these hats. We might be in one of these center circles here. You might use GraphQL in your company, but also maintain a library or contribute to the spec, sponsor an event like this one. You're simultaneously a player and a co-designer of the game. And today I wanted to talk to you about one of the institutions that holds a stake in this ecosystem. Doesn't always get the spotlight, but it's here. And it's called the GraphQL Foundation. Let's get one common misconception out of the way. The GraphQL Foundation does not write the specification. That work happens in the GraphQL Specification Project with the Technical Steering Committee. So what does the foundation do? You can think of it as sort of like an infrastructure provider, stage crew, scaffolding, logistics team that makes the show possible. Lives under the Linux Foundation, which means we have the benefit of scale, resources, experience from an open source network. Foundation pays for the unglamorous but critical things involved with this project. You can kind of see them up here, right? You got trademark, you got like Zoom so we can see and hear each other on working group meetings, very important. Locals, right? And we heard about that program earlier in the conference, of course. Our grants program, really proud of that. GitHub license, right? We got to host this somewhere. Might as well be GitHub. And of course, hosting the website. Sorry, my notes. 1 second here. We'll get into the other stuff that the foundation does in a minute. But I think it's important to shine a light on how the foundation is organized. Foundation is led by its governing board, of which Lee Byron is head honcho, and the rest of the board is comprised of representatives appointed by member companies. Not shown, by the way, is Expedia Group. these member companies pay the dues to keep the lights on, the GraphQL subscriptions, if you will. Membership in, yeah, there you go, a little GraphQL here. Weren't expecting that, yeah. So yes, that's good. I did put applause for applause in my notes, so good, yes. Anyway, it's not just about prestige, though. It's about having a seat at the table, right? It's about helping guide how resources are allocated and sharing responsibility for stewarding GraphQL into the future, right? One member, one vote. We have like parliamentary procedure. We discuss, we make motions, we second those motions, we vote, we adjourn, we form committees. Also present in meetings are invited members of the technical steering committee, who are non-voting liaisons between the working groups and the foundation. That includes Benji Gillum and Michael Steib. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention Joy Burson, VP of Standards at the Linux Foundation, an essential force multiplier for us. And she brings friends, and Aaron Barrett, Emily Ruff, and Carolyn Ingalls. So yeah, round of applause for them as well. They are essential to the whole operation. Then there are committees. This is where we try to make the magic happen, right? Where projects get scoped, allocated funds hopefully get spent. And we have 3 active community committees so listed. Although leading up to this time of year, we're really all the conference committee. It's a big show to do. But yeah, conferencing community, marketing and content and budget are our current committees here. It's not a firm thing. It's just what suits us at the moment. And I'm going to highlight a few wins. You heard about these throughout the program, so I'm not going to dwell on them, but it is something that we're proud of as a community. Our grants program produced a lot of really great grants this year, and you can see the awardees on the screen here. We're really proud. And guess what? This is the first year where we're on track to spend kind of like most, if not all, of our grant budget. That's actually great. And you might be thinking, wait, isn't that a bad thing? That's less money. Actually, it's a great thing because we want to support awesome projects that are crucial to the health of the community that help bring GraphQL forward. So we actually want to give grant to award grants. So that's a really wonderful thing. We also have our community gardening allocation. This is the code name for Benji. Benji supports the working groups and the whole project through hosting meetings, managing calendars, agenda, and notes. Benji supports us. We support Benji. Thank you, Benji. Oh, yeah. I also had pause for applause there too, so thank you. Yeah, but the foundation does not work in a vacuum, right? There have been plenty of collaborative efforts around the community that I'd like to highlight. On Monday, Ori got up and talked about the community working group. This was the process and the place in which the GraphQL.org redesign was coordinated. Thanks to the extraordinary work, of course, of the Guild, supported by the feedback and contributions from many folks in the community. Really awesome effort, and it's something that really gives me a lot of optimism. Community also produced the Android and iPhone apps for this conference. Martin Bonin and Calvin Sestari from Apollo volunteered their time to making that happen. Oh, yeah, okay. Pause for applause. And the T-shirt that many of us are wearing, I'm wearing, right, was designed by Ana de Magalhães, a designer at Apollo. She designed the T-shirts that we are wearing. Benji and Jem Gillum run the STARS program to acknowledge the excellent work and of those who contribute to the working groups and the foundation and to the GraphQL community. And Jem, I'd like to single you out for a moment. Your involvement this year has just been incredible. You've been working so diligently behind the scenes to make things happen. So thank you on behalf of everybody. Other things that we're really proud of is starting to hold more public meetings. Started last year at GraphQL Conf 2024. Yesterday, GraphQL Conf 2025. That was another really important moment. And we're going to start having these on a more regular basis. So every 6 months. The next one will probably be on Zoom. Look out for more information on that in the future. These things don't just happen, though, right? They require infrastructure. They require coordination and, yes, funding. Thanks, ChatGPT. But vibe shift. I'm not going to take anything away from these wins. There are some significant structural challenges that keep me up at night. GraphQL's identity, like so many other technologies, right, was formed in the age of applications, traditional software applications. What about agentic development, though? Big question mark. The foundation's responsibility is to support the development of the spec and to support the health of the community. What does that look like in this new era? To what extent do we even get to define that problem space? It's a big question, and one that can only be answered with engagement and investment. Now, all the community activity that we were talking about before, it gives me hope. But our core group does remain small, and I want to be real with you. That's a risk. I'll put on my GraphQL treasurer hat for a moment. We have two main constraints: resources and time spent. It's not getting any easier to get people to give either of those two precious commodities. I was listening closely around the halls and the rooms yesterday, at the GraphQL all-hands meeting and throughout the unconference, right? There has been so much energy. Everybody I've talked to at this conference is bursting with ideas and enthusiasm. It's been incredible, right? So much energy. And thank you all for dedicating your time and your resources to making these 3 days extremely special. Incredible ideas, incredible engagement. That's awesome, right? The thing is, if nobody takes action on those ideas, we will fail. I asked a question at the all hands yesterday to the room to imagine what it would look like a year from now if we did not meet the moment in the AI era, right? No matter how we feel about it, a huge amount of resources and time are being dedicated to agentic development. GraphQL deserves a significant slice of that pie. Matt's talk on Monday is still kind of ringing in my ears. We do have to act. Which brings me to a related challenge: sustainability. How do you sustain financial commitment and time commitment over the years? How do you avoid burning out the same dozen volunteers, right? How do we compete for attention at our point in the Gartner hype cycle that we've talked about in different forums? What narratives and outcomes will motivate people, and how should we mobilize the foundation's resources to those ends? Who will do the boots on the ground work to make it real? They're hard questions, but they're the right questions to ask of ourselves as we chart our course into GraphQL's sophomore decade. This is where I get excited about all the things that were on the board earlier, like the community working group and programs like ambassadors, locals, the subject matter expert group that produced this extraordinary program that we've been a part of over these past 3 days. These are good steps in the right direction. So what can you do? Like right now. I was hyping up this QR code yesterday, by the way, so here it is in living color. Showing up here does count for an awful lot. Thank you to those of you who attended and engaged with the Foundation's public meeting yesterday. We'll be doing those again in the future. If you're working for a team that uses GraphQL, consider joining the Foundation. Come find me or any of the other wonderful Foundation folks here or on the internet. We're not hard to find. There's even a booth over there. We can talk about what's involved. But there's plenty you can do without even writing a check, right? You could start small, join a technical or community working group session. You can show up even to listen, right? You can bring questions or experiences or just lurk. It's fine. You can even go camera off and mute. We're just going to be glad that you're there. Consider applying for a grant or to become a GraphQL ambassador or joining or organizing a GraphQL local meetup, right? But above all, build. That's ultimately why we're all here, because people had the audacity to make world-changing technology. Y'all got a door prize, I'm sure. Can y'all hold up your towel? You took tiles with you, I hope? Did everybody get them? Yeah? Okay, you can hold them up. Yeah, show which letters you got. Yeah. This is where the game gets put in your hands, right? We all fill in this board together. Oh, I see we're already making words. See, that's the right attitude. Fantastic. So what is the GraphQL Foundation? What do we got? What were we at? Talk. Okay, I got a little bit of that left. So what is the GraphQL Foundation? It's just one institution. The real story is us. This community, this ecosystem, this ongoing game of Scrabble where the rules matter, the tiles matter, but the real magic is the players around the table. So let's keep playing, let's keep building, and if we play the game well, we'll get a triple word score and move GraphQL that much further forward. Thank you all.